Your Story family. This is Allison Gaillard with Run Your Story, where every story needs to be heard. And I am so excited to be able to share with you guys my amazing friend. Oh, she's so incredible. You guys, if you know her, you love her. If you don't know her, get to know her because you want a Ginna Johnson in your life. If the last name sounds familiar, that is because Lance Johnson is lucky enough to call this woman his better half, his wife, and I absolutely adore her. Such a trooper in all things, and she makes an amazing Grinch, guys. She made the reindeer run so much more fun this year. I think she should be the Grinch every year. Just absolutely incredible, so fun. Ginna is absolutely adorable and such an incredible cheerleader for adoptive athletes, for any athlete, as she likes to say, the average Joes. So cute. I want to be Ginna when I grow up because she cares about our community so well, and she is such a cheerleader. And not only that, but she shares an incredible story about how she inspires her class with writing, how she opens up to them and shares a vulnerable time for her. And she's going to share that in this podcast about her 50 miler. And wow, it was just so good. And now I want to go sit in her class. Like, I want to be one of her students. So absolutely incredible story. Ginna also talks about the power of our mind. And we know this as runners, but I think even in life, we get hung up on the things that we can't do. And Ginna reminds us that we can do them. And that was such a great reminder, especially kicking off 2024. Like, I've already failed at a couple of things. And so it was a great reminder that I can get back up, I can start over tomorrow. And I appreciated that so much about Ginna and what she brings to our community. We are so blessed. She absolutely loves our local running community and the local races, and just her family in general, amazing athletes. And I believe that Lance is in her shadows this time. So I love that. Thank you so much, Ginna, for your friendship and for allowing me to share your story, because that was so cool. I learned so much about you, and I'm so thankful that I get to call you my friend. So, and my running sister, because you are just absolutely amazing. And speaking of local races and how much we love the Port City Pacers, Ginna talks about that in her story. And the Port City Pacers are powering this podcast this month. And guys, our Port City Pacers were organized right here in Mobile, Alabama in 1979 as a nonprofit chapter of the Road Runners Club of America, also known as RRCA. It was founded to educate Mobilians about the benefits of running and walking. Guys, just get out and move. That's what Port City Pacers want you to do. The club is still committed to promoting and encouraging participation in road races. Port City Pacers put on some great local races, and guys, join today as a Port City Pacer member. So many great benefits, and the Port City Pacers are constantly working on how to bring more to the members. And if you have ideas or suggestions, listen, they absolutely love them, because my families, we love being a Port City Pacer member family. And that's the thing, you can be a family, you can be a single, they have all kind of options. So definitely check them out. And what better way to kick off the new year than running a Port City Pacer race that is coming up in February, which is Battle of Mobile Bay 5K, Azalea Trail Run, Old Mobile 8K, and Do It in the Bush, along with so many others. You can register for these races at the local running stores or online at portcitypacers.com. And also follow the social media page on Port City Pacers and come hit the pavement with the Port City Pacers. So much fun. I absolutely adore the members of Port City Pacers. It's like a big family reunion. I just absolutely love it. So become a family member, become a member of the Port City Pacers, and check them out. So much fun. And huge thank you for them for powering up our podcast this month, because they are an amazing organization and just so grateful to be a part of that. And what they do, they work so hard to bring incredible races to our community, and they keep them affordable for families. So you definitely join and get a little bit of a perk there for those race entries. So absolutely love it. Thank you, Port City Pacers. All right, guys, lace up those running shoes, get ready, get set, and go run with my friend Ginna and her Run Your Story. Yay. So excited. I do have to say this because we talked about your hubby being Buddy the Elf, and that is that you're my favorite Grinch. I think you played that part so well.
So that was a last minute thing. The guy who normally does it at the reindeer run, his wife had a baby that morning. So there was a Grinch costume just laying off to the side, waiting on me. When our youngest Zoe was in first grade, for some reason I have this giant Grinch head. And I really played the part that year. I ran into these first grade classrooms and they had Grinch Day. And I threw pencil cases. I shook their pencil cases. This one single desk, I slid this kid around. I stood on this chair and threw their ornaments off the tree. And they're all like 18 first graders just running around chasing me. It was hilarious. So I had to channel that. But that was like 5 years ago. So
well, I thought there was no more appropriate way to introduce you as Ginna the Grinch.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So I really loved it.
I had 4 people come up to me afterward. I'm like, that's where you went. I was wondering where you went.
And it's funny, too, because you also placed in that race.
Yes.
And then you took your medal, which I thought was hilarious.
That photo is my cover photo on Facebook.
It's my favorite. I also got a picture with the Grinch, which just made the day even better. So
I had a friend message me after. He's like, I thought we didn't get a picture together. And then I realized that you were the Grinch. So we did get a picture together. So I was like, yep, that was me.
Well, I just have to say thank you so much for bringing so much joy, because the awards during that time was so funny.
I'm kind of sad. I'm like, can your wife have a baby again next year? So anyway, it was really fun.
And his wife's like, no, I'm done.
So plus I got to beat up on Lance a little bit every chance I got. It was fun.
And embarrass your kids.
They were mortified.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
I love it. Thanks. You are such a dear friend of mine, such a great accountability partner, and you are just all the things, and I just love it. And so I'm so excited to know, what is Ginna the Grinch's story? What is your run story, my friend?
So most people, I think, know this, but maybe not. So, of course, I live in the shadows of Lance, who to me is an elite runner. He's naturally good at it, and I do my best. But we actually started in obstacle course racing. So I think I ran my first obstacle course race before I ran my first road race.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, of course, he started dabbling in it. And I did the stupid thing of, I will never do that. And then maybe 6 months later, I did that. So I watched him at his first Spartan race, freezing cold in Atlanta. I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Later that year, even before the end was the year was out, I was doing my first one. It wasn't Spartan. It was called Battle Frog. It's no longer a race series. And then we were just hooked after that. We traveled every weekend. The kids went with us. And eventually, it just got to be a lot of travel. And we decided, hey, there's 5Ks at home. Let's dabble in that. But we literally traveled all over the United States doing all kinds of different obstacle course races. I've only traveled maybe twice for a road race, like the Houston Half last year in January. And one time we did a racecation after the Disney Princess Half. So a few years. But most of our races in the beginning were obstacle course races. And it was every weekend. It was a different state. It was fun, but I look back and go, I have no idea how we did that.
Right, sure.
So now we, of course, stay a lot closer to home most of the time. With the Spartan races, you do a lot of trail running. So that, I think, led us to ultra running. So it's very similar. You just don't have the obstacles.
Sure.
And so I guess that's really where our start is. I think that's why our ultras are close to our heart, because it's where we started. So,
and now your girls are running.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our oldest, she's 14. She has her first indoor track meet for the season this weekend. She does cross country, indoor track, outdoor track. Our youngest does other stuff, so she does track for 6th grade at the elementary school right now.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Just a running family.
Yeah.
And you guys are such cheerleaders for the community. I think that's why, like, I look at you and Lance and I go, wow, just so fun. And you guys I also would consider you an elite athlete. I'm just always like, there's Ginna, hey. Like, I only see you at the finish because you're way ahead of me.
No,
so
that's not true.
Yeah, it's 100% true. Even when you were injured, let me just say. Even when you were injured. Yeah. And I love that conversation when you were like, yeah, I'm injured. I'm not going to go as fast. And I was like, yeah, okay. And sure enough, I was like, yeah, that's what I thought, Ginna. So let's talk about some lessons that you've learned from running.
Okay. I know all these are like cliche, but you can do hard things. I've learned that through different races, different training, different injuries, like you mentioned. And I know a lot of people preach this, but not everybody realizes it. But your mind is going to give up before your body does. And I have felt that so many times, especially in like our longer ultra run. So for anything above a marathon, anything above 26.2, we're considering an ultra. So I've done several 50Ks, and then my longest is 50 milers. I've not gone more than that. So I've definitely felt that, but you have to have a strong mind to do hard things, but you can. You don't give up. So, and then you're talking about the community. I think kindness goes a long way. I don't care if it is the last person crossing that finish line. Cheer for them.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's someone who just wanted, who is injured and just want to take it slow that day, or they have a bigger race. Just kindness goes so far. And I think that's why we love this community so much. I didn't play sports or anything growing up. I don't know if people know that. I was not athletic. I still don't really consider myself super athletic.
Even after doing obstacle courses. Really?
No.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I try my best. That's my theory. So I was a Girl Scout and I did bowling. That was my only sport. I did no sports. So anybody who gets out there and pushes themselves, cheer them on. And I think this community is so welcoming for so many different sizes, shapes, age. It doesn't see a skin color. And I think that's what this community is. The running community is so great. So.
Oh, I love that. For me, it feels like a family reunion every time we're all together. I'm like, I'm with my people. I'm with my family.
Absolutely.
And it's brought so many people into my life. I feel like running has given me so much because of the people.
And yeah, running is still love-hate for me. Like sometimes we love it, sometimes we don't. But it's the people and it's the continue. I did that. I can do that. I did that.
Yeah.
The small feats. So
I powered through my mind.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good. I told you I loved you. So I love you so much. So let's talk about a favorite race and why. And it can also be an obstacle course race.
Okay.
So what has been your favorite race?
Well, so we love the local races. I love anything with a good view. I think our local bridge runs and tunnel runs, even though they're mostly Sufferfest, are just so unique and so great to our city. So I really like those. Another one of my favorites is the Boo Crew 2, which I know you were there, our MC this year. So this one is a Halloween theme race, which is my favorite, of course. But it's near and dear to my heart because it supports our adaptive athletes. It's one thing to watch your elite athletes push themselves. They're going to push themselves so hard. Or the average Joe do more and more each race. But to watch these adaptive athletes adapt and overcome on the race course will make your heart just explode. I can't explain it unless you've seen it in person. And to imagine the behind the scenes work that they have to do to be there, I don't know. It warms my heart. But I think my favorite is still Reindeer Run. It's 2 miles from the house. It's fun. All our friends are there, and it's Christmas themed. So who doesn't love Christmas? But I don't know. It's hard to pick just one.
Yeah. Oh,
those are the ones I really enjoy.
So Reindeer Run, so fun. Although it always seems to be a little hot and humid during.
Yeah.
Come on, Brent. I'm gonna need you to work on this.
But that is still currently, not this year, but last year, my 5K PR. So that's another reason. This year did not even touch that, but I was injured, so I'm not gonna be too hard on myself.
Last year was also foggy, so it was like you couldn't. You're
I
like, I don't know where I am.
Yes, and I live here. I live there. So yeah,
I love.
I always get really turned around on that one. I don't know why. Last year, the whole time I thought, well, Britt changed the course and didn't mention that. No, I don't know why I get so turned around on that one.
That's hilarious.
I do it every time.
I know the thing. And how many years have you done that?
I don't know. Okay. At least 4 or 5.
And then speaking of the Boo Crew Run, yes, such a good, and you nailed it. Like, it's something about watching adaptive athletes. For us, we get to go just buy a pair of shoes. But for them,
it's not.
It's like you have to haul so much equipment.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's just incredible. I think that's why, like, with Book Run and then also with Battleship
Yeah.
12K this year, like seeing the adaptive athletes
Yeah.
that were there, it was extraordinary. And your husband's a pusher.
Yeah.
So.
And I pushed it Boo Crew last year from a friend of ours.
There we go.
So,
See?
yeah.
And
y'all are amazing. I hope to do more when there's more opportunities to push. So.
And let me just say, you still beat me. Let me just go ahead and say that.
Whatever.
I'm like, you go, girl. But that's just incredible. And I think that's something that I really appreciate. Like you said, our running community is so welcoming and so loving for the adaptive athletes and the push athletes. It's just.
So our roots are in obstacle course races. So if you ever give an opportunity, watch how these groups take an adaptive athlete through an obstacle course race.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Okay.
We did one with Julia.
Okay.
So, but they still have groups that go through the Spartans and stuff. You've got either, like, some of them are injured veterans.
Sure.
Or just regular adaptive athletes. So that's another thing that's really cool to see. We've experienced it a few times.
Is the chair like a more rugged chair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I think they modify like a regular chair. I don't know really how they.
That's insane.
I'm sure they have to make it.
That's a whole nother level of hardcore.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think we've done it twice with Julia. There used to be one in Mobile, the police department put on.
Yeah.
But I don't think they do it anymore. And then one in Brood. So.
That's incredible. I did not know that. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I knew you were a beast.
I
told you, I keep telling you I want to be like you, and I'm not exaggerating.
So,
wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, actually, we did the Spartan in Saraland. We had a big crew that came out, and we went through with Julia. But we have friends that still do it with many athletes across the United States. It's interesting. Yeah, it's cool.
That's just fun. Yeah, a whole nother level, my friend.
No.
A whole nother level. Let's talk about your pre-race routine. Do you have one? What does it look like?
Not much. Hope we get everybody awake and in a good mood and in the car on time, because most of the time our kids are with us. I do like a half scoop of Performalite.
Okay.
It's like a beet-based supplement,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Even if I don't need it, I like to just set up my water bottle. I run hot, like my face just heats up, and it could be winter. But I'll bring it. Most of the time, I don't drink it while I run. I'm like squirting myself. So if I look like I'm doused when I'm done, it's maybe not sweat.
I miss my mouth.
No, I do it on purpose.
Oh, okay.
To cool myself down. But so I just set up water bottle and a little bit of Performalite.
Okay.
That's it. I don't eat.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, get there on time.
Speaking of, back to Beer Crew with that, you guys dressed up.
Yes.
As Forrest Gump and Jenny.
Yes.
And one of you stayed true to character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, and then I was just a hippie walking around by myself at that point. Mm-hmm.
Because someone said, I'm not running in the beard.
It was maybe 30 seconds for a picture. But hey, I got a good Facebook profile pic out of it.
It was fantastic. I love that so much.
It was so quick. I could have literally put it in the package and returned it and got my money back from Amazon, because you would have never known it was worn. It's still in the costume bucket. I have a costume bucket. So, yeah.
Speaking of, we're just hating on Lance right now.
Yeah.
Cross the finish line. What does that post-race routine look like?
Yeah, no.
You hang out with people.
Yeah. Yeah. Socialize.
Socialize.
Yeah, I don't have anything that we do. What's the rest of our day? We just.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, a big race, obviously. There's more to it. But local race, like, all right, what's next? Oh, we got to go to Costco. Okay, cool. I really just, just make it, that's our Saturday morning, and then we continue with the rest of the day. So.
Love it. When you're hardcore.
All right. No,
when you're hardcore, that's what happens. Yeah,
we don't have a routine.
Okay, you talked about your water bottle. Do you have a favorite running item besides your water bottle?
Headphones.
Okay.
I do like to listen to music.
Okay.
If I forget, it's not the end of the world, although I get mad at myself. I might watch my headphones.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
So let's talk about your running playlist. What is Ginna's?
I'm actually a rocker.
What?
Yeah, I like maybe some not appropriate, but I just blare it and sometimes I feel like some races I don't even hear my music.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But it's there.
Mm-hmm.
1,000-foot crutch. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah.
Skillet. It's a little cleaner. We watched the movie Bohemian Rhapsody over Christmas. I'm on a Queen kick right now. Although I haven't ran with that, but I'm sure that's really good to run with. So yeah, it depends on what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
For walks, I don't rock out usually when I'm doing a walk, but for runs, yeah, I gotta have something upbeat, rock.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of pop when I run. I don't know why. It's got to be something I can just blare and just.
Again, you're hardcore.
No,
you're
not
hardcore. Hard rock, hardcore.
That's not it. I had to stop listening to TK when I had kids. When they started talking. No.
That's funny. Okay, favorite running shoes.
So I like Saucony, or some people say Saucony. But right now I'm back in Asics just because I've struggled with plantar fasciitis. That's been my most recent injury. I think the other thing that was bothering me is finally settling down. So I like Hoka, but for some reason I had the right heel rub all the way down to the plastic in 2 shoes.
Whoa.
So they were very gracious and gave me my money back. And I ordered a second pair and it did the exact same thing.
Wow.
I know. So I was really sad.
Yeah.
But Hoka did well for me. But Saucony, I felt like I got a lot of PRs with until I was struggling with the plantar fasciitis. And then it doesn't agree with that because of the way my pronation is. So, but that's pretty much the 3 that I wear. I can't wear certain brands.
Same. Yeah.
I'll know instantly. No, I can run across the room and go, nope, those are not for me.
Wow.
So I'm very sensitive, I guess.
Just know,
particular. Like people love Brooks, but they don't work for me. Mizuno I don't know, something about them. I guess I'm not good enough for those shoes. I'm not even going to attempt Nike. We're not there yet. So Asics work really well for me.
Okay. Gotcha. So for your longer runs, what do you take to fuel?
We used to do a lot of goo energy. And then Lance was like an ambassador. So we have this huge tub at our house. I won't say huge, but for those little packages, like a big tub of goo. But at one of our races found spring gels, which I know you've dabbled with.
Yes, my favorite.
And it's like a puree of real food. And those, I cannot describe how much better they settle.
Yes.
We've talked about just making our own because we're doing a lot of smoothies and stuff right now. So why not? Because you just make something similar to an applesauce and throw it in those little handheld squeezy bottles that are soft, the soft flask. And then we use e-fuel. It's got a little bit of natural carbs in it, and it's more like a hydration.
Okay.
So I'll use some of that. If I'm doing a Loop Ultra, so what I might do is fill up half a scoop of e-fuel, make it to like the first aid station, try to drink that down, and then I really just like water when I run. I don't like a lot of flavorings.
Sure.
I can't do the effervescent, the Nun and Tailwind's too sugary. So I'm very basic, but you will crash if you don't do anything. Especially if you're pushing yourself 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, depending on how slow I am, hours. So I'm just kidding. Depending on the distance. So you have to have something. So we've just found it's always trial and error. It's always trial and error. That's why you want to try stuff on your training runs and not necessarily your event.
Absolutely.
So same with shoes and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've made so many of those mistakes that I'm talking about, but so those are the things that I kind of use now. Hopefully we're going to test out making our own. I'm curious to see how that's going to work.
Yeah. Dude, I was so thankful that we were at a run together and Lance was like, hey, I think we have an extra pack.
Yeah, we grabbed, we were maybe squirreling some away at one of the races.
And I was I was like, I took it out and I was like, wow. And now that's part of my routine for race day. I'll have one before I run. And then like this past half, I was like, you know what? I'm feeling good. I don't need another one.
Exactly.
And so it was like I had one. And now, again, depending on weather and other things, I might be like, you know what? I need to go ahead and fuel again.
Yes.
But it is, and like you said.
And you can feel it.
It feels so good on the stomach. You don't feel like you're about to, and you don't have to drink a ton of water after either.
Right. I've done races where I'm like, okay, I have to do this on clockwork.
Correct. Yeah.
And crashed. Or I've done it to where I can feel it and say I need something. And to me, it's better to feel it. And then, because if I do clockwork and then I'm so like bogged down with so many, whatever I put in, if it was the goo or whatever, that I'm just like, I don't know. It's just a weird feeling. So I've learned to just run and feel it. And if I don't need anything, I don't need anything.
Yeah.
I don't do anything before the 5Ks anymore, except that like a half scoop of the Perform Elite. But other than that, I don't do any like a goo or anything before a short race.
Yeah.
I just save all that for them.
Right.
Long.
Same. They're expensive.
Yeah, well, that too.
But, and also like the taste. Like it just tastes like you're surprised. I was surprised by the packet that you guys gave me. Like how I was like, this is delicious.
Yeah.
And then I ordered some for their trial pack that they have. And I was like, I'm going to take this to work on days that I'm like, I only have 30 minutes. Let me just scarf one down. Good to go. And I was like, okay.
It's so filling.
Mm-hmm. So good. So I appreciate you guys because you gave me.
And try the little kids' applesauce.
I did this. Mm-hmm.
What are they?
Like the Go Squeeze?
Yeah, like the Go Squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I was doing that before. And then you guys got me on spring gel.
Oh, sorry.
Way to go.
No,
No, it's fine.
Ruined your budget there.
That's right. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, let's talk about a favorite running memory.
Okay, so it's a favorite now. So it's not a long story, but you'll see why it becomes my favorite. And so I don't think I mentioned this in the beginning, but I'm a teacher. You know this, but other people may not know this. 6th grade teacher, and I'm a writing teacher right now, although writing was not my favorite growing up. I also tell them that. My worst subject or least favorite subject was probably writing, and now I teach it. And so I know what that feeling is like, oh, my teacher's making me write this. So we always do a personal narrative. So, of course, it's a story related to you. And I give them options, but a lot of them go with the prompt of a time I reached a goal. And I think it's because I share my story. So I write this paper from a person who is not a writer, who did not like to write as a kid. And that just doesn't change from a kid to adult. I still don't like to write papers. Who likes to write papers? But this running memory turned out to be a 9-page rough draft.
Wow.
Because it was so memorable to me. And I show them that. So mine is my one and only so far, I guess I'll say so far, although I'm still at never again, was my 50-mile race. Okay, so it's called Children of the Cane, Fort Allen, Louisiana. It's just outside of Baton Rouge. It's cane fields. That's where you get Children of the Cane. There's more evil things he does, but I'll explain in a second. So you run cane fields, railroad tracks, you do the levee tops, you can see in the river and stuff, and back into cane fields. And each loop is 16.66 miles.
I got that.
And so for every loop, you go the opposite direction.
Okay.
So Lance and I did this race together. So we start in the same direction, but I'm usually about half his time. So on one of the loops on the way back, we were in opposite directions. I can't remember the mileage. I'd have to go back and look. And I did document it somewhere. But anyway, I was on one loop. He was on another. I think I was on my second loop. He was on his third. So we crossed. And we literally sat in the cane field and just talked for a moment. And it was just like a breath of fresh air. We'd already been out. If you're on your second loop, you're already in 30-something miles. It's just so I was able to see him. I just felt that sense of support and happiness. And we can both run the same race, but obviously in our totally different way. And we can still support each other. It was just a feeling I can't really describe. But then at mile 40, I hit the everything hurts and I'm dying phase. My hip was killing me. So many things. And I had never done 40 miles. So my longest at that point was a 50K, which is 31-ish miles. I was like, oh, well, I've done the longest I've ever done. So maybe I should just stop. But then you don't finish. So I would have received a DNF, do not finish. And he even has some nice little finisher medals that say DNFs of your reminder, not that you failed, but to come back. But yeah, so I didn't want that one. I wanted the real one. So I had my phone because at that point I needed some music. It was getting dark again. I called Lance. I'm like, please tell me I have 10 miles. That's a long way to go, but I've already done 40. Please talk me off this. I'm hitting a wall. I'm ready to sit out here, call a cab, and be done. I could not get it back. So he's like, just do it. He was very encouraging. So I can't tell you how many times I cried those last 10 miles. It was so emotional. I just almost felt like I couldn't get myself together. I couldn't stop hurting. Everything hurt. It never subsided. So these levees are big hills, and then the top is this gravel road.
Okay.
And I would literally lay on the side of the hill and stretch my back. Just everything hurt. But My shoes at that point were probably worn out. I didn't buy brand new shoes for that race. So I'm wearing old shoes, and I didn't prep probably as well as I should, but I finished. And that's looking back as I did that. It was the most miserable thing I've ever done. And just the last 10 miles, the first 40 were great. It is so strange. And I don't know. But like I tell the kids, I literally just took one step at a time. I thought one step at a time. Okay, I know this part. I've already passed this 3 or 4 times, one step at a time. And for hours, I mean, it took me a long time to finish. It was way outside what I thought I could do it in. I think my goal was 12 hours, and it ended up taking me 15. But I couldn't move any faster than I could move, but I just didn't quit.
Yeah.
I wanted to quit. I cried, but I did not quit. And I get back, and there's literally no one there except the race director. And that race has a 100-mile option. So the 100-milers are still out there. But the race director, his wife, they've got this fire pit going. And he walks over and congratulations. And I'm like, that was awful. Nobody talked to me. Do you want a piece of pizza? Yes. I have a picture of myself, this giant piece of pizza. They like sit me by the fire. And he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, you're second place female. I'm like, what?
What?
So had I not, and not that it's about that.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, I can do this. Yes, it was miserable. I'm not going to sit here and say it was not miserable. I still like aching right now thinking about pain, but not necessarily because, I don't know, I'm sure I need to train more for that. I sit here and say I'll never do it again, but you never know. But just the feeling of crossing that finish line is I could have easily quit. There were plenty. That one is definitely accessible to just hop in a car and go home.
Wow.
But I achieved my goal. I may never do it again. But in my lifetime, I did 50 miles. I put that little sticker on the back of my car, and then I will rock that sticker. But I know that it's like a terrible memory, but it's also one of my favorites because it's my reminder that it doesn't matter what's going on.
Yeah.
If I put my mind to it, I can do it. So,
well, it goes back to what you said earlier, and that is your mind will give up quicker than your body will.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you had to push through that.
Yeah,
and
that's why I have that shirt, that tank top, shut up legs, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's probably a lie, but if you lie to yourself, you'll make it there. But yeah, so that's my
That's an incredible story.
And I think the kids are like, oh man, I did that one time. Not 50 miles,
Sure,
but
yeah.
I relate it to all their sports.
Yeah.
A lot of them in sports. I'm like, if you're not dance competition, whatever. And they really just, oh man, I achieved a goal one time. It could be the smallest thing.
Sure.
I have gamers who start writing a 5-paragraph essay on how they beat this boss that they've been trying to beat for months. You can literally relate that to anything. And I think those are some of the best writings of the year because I show my emotional side of it and they're able to do the same.
Yeah.
They're like, I can do that. I want to talk about this. You don't make them just say, write me a Halloween story.
Yeah.
Write it about you. And then it shows them, I can achieve anything. I might not have made a touchdown so far this year, but I can try again next year.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be immediate. So that's why I think it's one of my favorites.
You were so inspirational. I want to be in your English class. I want to go sing class. Wow, that's incredible.
I'm corny.
Nah.
That's all I ever am.
I love
Some
that.
of them laugh. Some are like, oh.
Do you bring in your medal and show them?
Yes, sometimes I do. Yeah.
Yeah. That's incredible.
And I'm bringing Lance's buckles. I haven't got one of those. I don't really know that I'll ever get one of those. I don't really have the want to do 100 miles.
Sure.
I think I want to try 50 again, but I also want to not be injured and do well. Like,
yeah.
I don't want it to, like, the last 10 miles crush my soul like it did. I don't want to hit rock bottom again. But I do think eventually I do want to try that again.
That's wild. You're wild. Wow.
Yeah. It's maybe dumb.
Nah.
That's the word you're looking for.
Not
Dumb.
at all. Not at all. So let's talk about, you talked about you got that pizza, but after a race, is there a certain food where you're like, I just want this?
Pizza.
Pizza? Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It's usually, so not every ultra is like soul crushing, but they're not easy. Most of them, if I do an ultra, it's going to be a 50K. At that point, like, I don't know if most people know our travel. We pretty much fly by the seat of our pants For example, last year we flew to the Houston Marathon, and in less than 24 hours, we flew back because Friday night, our youngest had a pageant, and Saturday, our oldest had a pageant. She placed in the pageant, so we had to stay extra to take pictures. We drove to Pensacola to hop on a plane. I also typed in Pensacola Naval Air Station instead of the Air Force.
I forgot. Yes.
Luckily, it's a small airport, and we Home Alone sprinted to the airplane.
Wow.
Arrived in Houston. Let's see, that was Saturday. And then Sunday morning was the race. And at some point, I think maybe 5 was our flight back home. So we were literally in Houston less than 24 hours.
Wow.
It was crazy. We did get to go eat with everybody. Was that dinner? I don't even remember. It was like a late lunch.
Okay.
After the race. And then everybody went Thursday and came back Monday. We were there because Monday was an indoor track meet in Birmingham. So, yeah, travel's
all over the place.
We don't give ourselves much time.
No.
So anyway, after an ultra, it's easy to grab a pizza, go to the hotel room, crash, start all over. Also, the night before, we're usually driving. You drive 5 hours, you grab a pizza, you go to the hotel room and crash. So pizza's kind of our go-to. It's easy, accommodates everybody.
Yeah.
I'll throw in a salad in there. If the kids are with us, they'll eat that. It's just easy. You don't have to decide what everybody wants. It settles easy. It's a little bit of carb. We don't really do pasta. You can, but we just don't. Rather do that than go sit at an Olive Garden or something. It's quick and easy. You can get a hot and ready if you want.
Yeah.
You know? So that's our before and after, really, a lot of times. Unless we've got more time.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to turn down a piece of pizza
But
after a race. You know what's really good after a long run?
What's up?
Hot dogs.
Interesting.
I'm not a big hot dog person.
Okay.
But after, I could eat about 5 of those.
Where do you okay.
Usually the Ultra, they have hot dogs.
Oh, okay. Because
yeah, they'll make them for you.
Where do you go?
You like crash in your chair. You're finally done. And they're like, do you want a hot dog? I'm like, yes, I'll take 3. It's the weirdest thing. I'm not a big hot dog person, but after a run, I could just inhale those things.
Interesting.
So it's either pizza or hot dog. I don't know. So.
Okay. And
Now, Lyson's going to eat 5 meals after he runs a long run. And if I spectate, I have to remember that I didn't run 100 miles. I don't need to eat 5 meals. That's hard. You have to eat again? You're kidding me. Just say it. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm not a big burger person, I guess. So that's probably why.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you've eaten. And now let's talk about recovery. How do you recover? Is there a favorite recovery tool that you have?
We have a massage gun, foam rolling. That hurts, but it's Lactigo is a product we found recently.
Yeah.
I still use BioFreeze and stuff if I need it, but Lactigo took the place of that. It's similar. What puts the lactic acid back where it goes? I may not be saying that right. Not the one to explain that one. And then I really love yoga.
So good.
Yeah, yoga is my go-to. I've always been naturally flexible, so I'm good at it. Yeah, ask Lance about yoga. I don't know if he talked about that. He's not good at it. I found the one thing I can beat him at. And it was hilarious. So you can YouTube Yoga for Runners by Adrian. This free YouTube videos, and it'll be more specific than that. Yoga for Runners, hips. Yoga for runners, quick stretch or whatever. And we do that. I used to do that a lot. So if it's available, I'll go to classes. I went to a class this week and I'm like, we helped somebody move a few weeks ago and my back has just been killing me because I lift my back, not my legs. And I went to yoga Wednesday night and I just feel so much better. I do it at the house, but it's not the same as like a teacher, like making you stay in the movements longer. If I'm at home, I try to stay in like pigeon for 3 to 4 minutes.
Sure.
And so you just gradually get more.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I really love yoga to try to help recovery. And you can burn some calories.
Oh,
so
100%.
Active recovery. That's not lay on the floor in Savasana.
Right.
Which is
I do enjoy that.
That's my favorite. And then they turn the lights out. You're like, oh, I'm going to wake up.
I do enjoy when they say that one. I'm like, oh.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, it's so good.
I really like lizard. Have you ever done lizard?
Okay.
It's not no one's favorite. I love lizard. It's so
Again,
odd.
I keep saying you're hardcore.
No, you're
You are so hardcore.
Whatever.
Favorite cross-training activity?
So I like a good workout strength training. I think that has helped me a lot.
Absolutely.
But I think my favorite is biking. I like biking through my city. I always go down to Steel Creek, our boat launch, especially Sunday mornings. And it's just so peaceful. I don't know. I like bike riding. I don't do 50 and 100 miles across over to Mississippi or anything crazy. It's 10, 12 miles. I've worked on, it's called a hybrid bike. It's got like, they're thin tires, but they're also not smooth.
Yeah.
So it's like a road bike, but I'm not clipping it. I'm going to fall over. I don't do that. So it's just me time. I'm not hitting 20 mile per hour. If I hit that on one hill, I'm like super pumped.
Yeah.
But it's just, I do that a lot of times on Sunday mornings because nobody's out. You don't have to worry about getting run over. I'll stay on sidewalks and stuff if I have to. Only thing about biking, which I guess it would be the same as running, is dogs. Dogs do not like bikes.
Yeah.
You can have the most friendly dog. I've had several. There's one that I will no longer go down these streets. It scared me so bad. That's the only downfall of biking. That's why I just follow the sidewalks now, because not everybody leash walks their dog, and it's scary. So this one road I just avoid now, which stinks because that was my route.
Yeah.
So, but I really enjoy biking.
And we keep saying we're going to get together. I keep saying I'm going to get together.
And then the
I know.
holidays hit. I forgot about that. Yes, we're going to get together.
We're going to get together and go.
And guess what I ordered?
What did you order?
Pickleball.
What did you order?
I had to text you yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm on this like discount Amazon Facebook group.
Yeah.
And it popped up an entire pickleball set for $12. And I was like, sold. So I was like, oh, Allison. Yeah. So
Let's go.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
It's totally fine.
But
we will
let's
teach
do
you. Let's do it.
No,
oh, dude, that just made my day.
I know. I totally forgot. I think it got delivered today. So
yeah.
I had to make sure it was like legit before I told you.
Stop it. Stop. It's so much fun.
So that could be a fun I'm sure that's cross training.
Oh, it's so much fun cross training.
Yeah.
I count it. It's a lot of sprinting, a lot of back and forth. You're using different muscles.
Hey, our daughters used to play soccer, and we would always do a moms versus kids game. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's a cross training.
Right.
I burn more calories in that supposedly kid-friendly game. But I'm sure the pickleball that's changing, the switching directions, it's got to be great for your running.
It's so much fun.
So,
and you're, as opposed to running like a half, it takes me like 3 hours. I can be out 3 hours on the pickleball court, and I don't even know that I've been out there for 3 hours.
Right, exactly.
But on the pavement.
Well, and that's why I don't want to burn out on running. I'm not doing as much right now because of my injury issues. But cross training keeps me from burning out, I think. I don't dread it. Oh my gosh, I have to go run. I have to do 5 miles today. And most people follow a plan and love that. I've never followed a plan. Maybe I should. Not getting injured. But I think the cross training keeps me from anything I do being dreadful.
Yeah.
I just enjoy it. Do I enjoy getting up at 4:30? Maybe not. But I've learned that I'm better. I want to say I'm a better person because of it, because I'm not a morning person. So if I wake up and have an hour to myself where I've stretched and I've done a little workout, it doesn't matter if it's just get up and do yoga. If I have that me time, I literally am a better person. So I don't want to be, of course, like I said, I'm a teacher, so we start early. So 7:30, I've got kids in my face, and I don't want to be that. Teachers don't talk to me. So I think the cross training saves me from the monotony of just having to always just run. And not everybody preaches cross training, but I'm a firm believer in cross training. It has saved me. It has brought me back. The Turkey 10 miler. Let's see, what year was that? I hurt myself so bad it put me out for 9 months.
Wow.
So I didn't train at all. Just thought, I'll just go run the Turkey 10 miler. It's cool. It's 5 miles from the house. That'll save me. I hurt so bad. It was one of those same things. Like, I was great. I was amazing until mile 7, and then something just happened and I couldn't go anymore. So anyway, during that 9 months, what was I going to do? Sit in my room and sulk? No. That's when I really ramped up some of my working out. It's like, okay. And I'll even do it morning and afternoon. We dabbled in the 75 hard. I always hate I stopped, but I'm not giving up on that. I'm going to go back. Say, just with the holidays and family in town, it's like, I don't want to set myself up for failure.
Yeah. Plus, your accountability partner was terrible.
No. Yeah, she was not. She was awesome. I love it. You help me read, because that is my hardest, reading or writing. But what do I teach? Reading or writing? Not. I teach grammar and writing. I teach reading.
That's hilarious.
It's funny. I tell them, like, see, you can do whatever you thought you would never do. That's not a good mantra, is it? Yeah. Well,
I love it.
so anyway, it saved me from sulking in an injury because you can modify.
Yes. Yeah.
Either you're just starting out or you're injured. This plantar fasciitis is, first off, no joke.
100%,
I was in a boot for 9 weeks and I did do nothing because he told me to do nothing.
Yeah.
And then finally he said, okay, well, do what you think you can do. Don't go run 48 miles in a weekend, which is probably what amplified it. Don't do the Goggins challenge if you're going to, with no training. Anyway.
Again, hardcore.
Should we talk about that? Goggins challenge is run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours.
Okay.
Which winds up being 48 miles. I could have made it 2 more and just done another 50, but I walked a lot of that. And somebody was like, oh, well, where do you go do it? You just do it at your house. So you run 4 miles, and I guess the faster you do it, the faster you get back to your house, you can go back to sleep. I didn't quite learn that. If I hurry up, I can go back to sleep. That's the hardest thing is you just pick it on a weekend. You don't have anything going on, or you work shift work and you have a couple days off, whatever. We're Monday through Friday workers. So
yeah.
Picked a weekend. We didn't have anything going on. This was in July. Started Friday night. So you end Sunday night, 4 miles every 4 hours, like clockwork. And
wow.
In the rain, it wasn't cold, but it rained. Anyway, we just did it anyway. That was interesting.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the doctor said, do what you can do, but don't do that again.
Right.
So I don't even think I've hit more than a 5K just struggling with the plantar fasciitis.
Sure.
So, but I'm on my feet all day at work. It's not necessarily the running, but running doesn't agree with it.
Yeah.
So I don't really consider it a running injury, but it definitely amplifies the pain. But I'm getting better. I think most days I'm low pain. I would say pain free. But anyway, you can always modify. So I went to a lot of low impact stuff. That's what I told you when we did 75 hard. I'm going to do this, but I may not necessarily do the outside activity because the outside activity is going to require it to not be low impact.
Yeah.
It's going to require me to put time on my feet, which is what's bothering me.
Yeah.
So elliptical, still working. Treadmill, still not low impact. So I minimally did that.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of stuff you can do that's low impact. Or I would still do my little workout videos in my garage, but I wouldn't do some of the jumping. You can modify anything. In fact, when you go to a workout class, they've got a modifier.
Yeah.
You watch a video online, follow the modifier. So whether you're injured or even just starting, start where you can start.
Oh, absolutely.
Just get started.
Like with your yoga, you like the lizard. I'm going to modify that. Yeah. And I think you nailed it. I think sometimes we get overstimulated or like we overthink it. We're in the sense of, I can't do that. Well, maybe not now.
Yeah.
But maybe eventually.
Well, and that's my hardest thing is to not compare myself. Okay, I'm going to do what I can do. I'm going to push. I need to push what I can do.
Sure.
I need to challenge myself. But my challenge myself is not going to be my husband's challenge.
Right.
And I have to not compare myself or I'll beat myself up.
Yeah.
I have to remember that look at where you started and look what you're doing now. And just because there are setbacks, because I've had several injuries, not made, stuff I can work through, but enough to go, okay, you got to stop doing what you're doing. You got to do better. And it's either been a lack of strength or lack of good shoes at work. I have good running shoes. I don't have good shoes at work. That's my problem. But if you just remember where you started, like you don't usually, I don't know a lot of people that regress unless there's an injury or something. But like I'm talking about either working out or yoga, the more you do it, the more flexible you get. Yeah. It may not be somebody else's split. I can't do a split but it's just, you got to stick with stuff.
That's good. That's really good. Besides your 50-miler in the cane, is there a race that you're like, I don't think I'll go back and do that one?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this was an obstacle course race.
Okay.
All right. So there are levels of Spartan races. I don't know. Do you know?
Yeah, there's
the sprints, the lowest.
Yeah, and then it goes to beast.
And then it goes to super, which was in between. There was one here a few years back in Saraland. There's been, so sprints like 3 to 5 miles. Supers 5 to 7 miles. Of course, they're always longer. Beast was like 10 to 14 miles. Or I'm probably off a little on these. I'm just trying to remember. And then there was Ultra Beast.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So a few years back, I worked myself up. Sprint wasn't challenge enough. Could do a super. We went to North Carolina one time and we did back-to-back beast, which means you did a beast on Saturday, you did a beast on Sunday. Obviously, Sunday was awful. You just walked it and hung out. You just got a big group of friends. Was like, let's just do this.
Wow.
So you could earn a trifecta. Well, that year I got the trifecta. So what's next? Of course, an ultra beast. Why not?
Why not?
Okay. So there's not many of those. Those are very limited on where you can go. Well, I'm not going north. I'm born and raised in Alabama, and I am always cold. I've got to get me a sweatshirt that says cold 24/7. So Dallas, it's Texas. It's hot. Yeah. Dallas is not always hot. Okay. So an ultra beast is 2 beast loops.
Okay.
So I think the beast loops were 12 miles. All right. So me and a friend, it's just me and one friend was our group this time. And failed obstacles are burpees. 30 burpees. Burpees are the worst. You could do, I don't know why. I'm just not good at them. I could work out for 3 hours, but you give me 30 burpees, it's like the death of me.
100% agree to that.
I just, not my friend. So we started in the dark. Ultra Beasts, you started, I can't remember if we started with the Beast runners or just the Ultra Beast. So you had a drop area. You put like a bucket, you put snacks. Whatever you wanted. Your own little pit crew.
Okay.
We usually had these, like the Homer buckets. Is that what they call them? Home Depot.
Okay.
And we had all our race stickers on them, and you just put that in there because if it rained, it wouldn't get wet.
Oh, that's cool.
We have several of those at the house where you just put your gear in. So instead of a duffel bag that could get wet or something. So, all right, so I had one of those. So you'd make a beast loop. Well, that you're talking 14 miles with, I don't know, 20, 30 obstacles. Some of them are just, I eventually could do the rope climb. And I can't remember if that race I was able to do it on the first loop. We probably did nothing on the second loop. We probably did every burpee known to man on the second loop. Anyway, we started. The elites took off because there was always elite. Maybe that's why I use the word elite a lot. Sorry, because that's what they do in obstacle course races. You had elites and then you had open wave. So you don't have to qualify or anything to be. So we always run the open wave. Well, I know the elite went first and they're like running on ice. Like, this is supposed to be Dallas. This is supposed to be hot. It was October. I'm clearly not a good researcher because it's not hot in Texas.
Oh, you mean like an actual ice?
Oh, actual ice. Like the ground was frozen.
Oh, wow.
And guess what? It never peaked 40 that day. I don't know much about a Spartan, but there's always going to be a water crossing. And we started in the dark and we finished in the dark. And I think that was literally the last Spartan race we did. I did with my friend. I think that was the last one she did too. It was just, it was sufferfest so much. There was no learning from it. This was like, we did it. I have a buckle. I guess I do have a buckle.
You do have a buckle.
I do have a buckle. I forgot about that. But there was no want in me to ever do that again.
Wow.
It was so cold. It was so miserable. It was just, that was my worst race. And it was not like a feeling of accomplishment. That was terrible. That was just terrible.
I'm just glad to be done.
Yeah. And that one was there was nothing to be learned of that. I have wasted my money. I paid to do this.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why people were, not when we were skipping obstacles, but we were like, okay, well, I can't do this. I've been out here all day. And people were kind of ugly about it.
Oh.
And I remember we were in our second loop and this group of elite females came through. And at that point, we're like, you know what? I'm not doing this dunk wall because we're going to be wet for 12 more hours.
Wow.
So we just decided, I'm just going to step to the side. And they were like yelling at us. We're like, we're not here to win an award. I'm not trying to win money. So we were doing burpees versus, I guess they want you to come touch it, which, I mean, it's not like people, sometimes there's people watching, but this is like in the middle of the woods. And we were like, we're going to play smart because it is going to be cold. Yeah. You're going to run through this course and be done. We're going to be out here all day. So people were ugly. Like, it was just not fun.
Yeah.
It was not a good, that was not a good memory.
Oh, man. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And not that it deterred me from doing another Spartan. I think it just worked out. That's literally probably the last race I did. Just after that, we just fell out of it. But that wasn't a good way to end my Spartan race.
But you got the buckle.
Yes, I did get the buckle. That's true. I do have a buckle. Forgot about that.
let's talk about somebody comes to you and they say, Ginna, like, I want to start running. Whether it's I want to get back into running from an injury or I want to start running. What is a piece of advice you'd give them?
Well, I think I kind of already said it. Like, what works for some does not work for all. Find what works for you. It's going to be trial and error. This is 2024. We started in about 2015. So I've been doing this maybe for 9 years. So I've learned a lot of trial and error. Don't beat yourself up. Start with small wins.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Like, I have a goal to start off with 10 push-ups and 10 sit-ups. Sit-ups, fine. Push-ups are hard for me. I don't feel like I have a lot of upper body strength. Okay. And then once I finally will work up to that, I'm going to add 2 more. That's a small win.
Yeah.
Now I want to do 12 sit-ups and 12 push-ups. I had got up to 15 and then the holidays totally messed me up and then we all got sick with the flu, unfortunately. So now I'm starting back over. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back to 12 again. And that's okay. Just because there's setbacks. What is it? I fall 8 times, get back up 9.
Yeah.
It's just, I've had PRs and then I've had races that were awful. I've had good memories. I've had bad memories, but I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep going. I go through a series where I'm like, I want to sleep in every morning. And then I feel terrible. I got to stop doing that. I got to get up and do something, or I've got to go do something before I go to bed. But I'm just not going to stop. Just keep going. So find a support system. It might be your spouse. It might be a friend. It might be another family member. Have a good support system. If you don't have a good support system, you start in the running community, you're going to find one. You're going to find one. But don't do it alone. You're not alone.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're working out or running or walking. I think walking is another one of my cross training. Like, I get shin splints really bad. So if I do a lot of running back to back, I'll get them. So I do a lot of walking. Start small. Walk, start running. Not everybody. It took me a long time to build up to not walk during a 5K. It took me a long time. And then sometimes I still, I've tried to talk myself out of it. Sometimes my goal in a 5K is not time. My goal is to just not walk.
Okay.
That's it's not an easy goal. That's not what I meant. It's a very doable goal.
Sure.
It works like easy. It's not easy. But my body's not going to quit. My mind is telling me, just take 10 seconds. And I've taken that 10 seconds to walk and gone, man, I could have PR'd by 10 seconds. Like, that's happened.
Yeah.
You know, if I could have I'll take the time and be like, subtract those 10 seconds. Man, if I didn't walk, I could have done that 5 seconds faster. That's silly, but
No, I listen.
I'm not trying to beat anybody else. I'm trying to beat myself.
It's funny you say that, 10 seconds. So this past season, I didn't train at all for triathlon. And that's like one of my favorite things to do. Well, the Brett Robinson came and I always do the sprint, or always, like, I usually do the sprint. You're at Gulf Shores. It ends at the hangout. It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
And this past year, it was absolutely, you could see through the water. It was absolutely beautiful. You could not have asked for better conditions. And of course, I didn't train at all other than my running. That was the only thing that I had done. Hadn't really been on my bike, but it's an easy, for me, it's an easy, it's flat, 12 miles. Like, it's totally fine. I'm like, I got this. And I came in 4th place by 10 seconds. And I was
I was going to say, I try not to, like, if I hadn't walked, I would have got 3rd place. But I can't say I've probably never done that. Yeah, I probably have. Totally looked.
And I was like, 10 if I would have just
made I mean, you have to do that. And then you have to go, okay, well, next time.
That's 100%. Yeah.
10 seconds faster.
I looked at great.
10 seconds that's a small win.
Yeah.
Like, small wins. I didn't just set out to go, okay, I'm going to start running and I'm going to run 50 miles. Heck,
100%.
It took me years to go.
Sure.
It's still it's going to take me another. I say, what year did I do that? 2021. It's going to take me. No, it hadn't been that long ago. I don't even know now. The years start flying by. I guess maybe 21. I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. It didn't take me that long. Another 3 or 4 years before I got myself back into it. So, small wins.
Yeah.
Small.
And listen, my husband was so proud. He was like, you didn't train at all for this. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
That was great. And of course, I was like, yeah, it is. But next year, I'm training for this.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes you need that spark to be like, I need to find that. Because it's a comfortable race for me where I get to do all 3 and the roads are shut down. Like, I feel safe. Like, I can do all the things I want to do. And I was just comfortable.
Yeah.
And so here I was going, I need that fire.
Yeah.
Leanne.
Absolutely. You got to find your fire.
You got to find your fire.
That's good. Find your fire. I would die in a triathlon. I can't swim.
No,
like
you
that.
wouldn't.
I
Not
can
at
doggy
all.
paddle.
It's 300 meters.
No,
Anybody can do anything.
they would pull me out of the water.
No, they would not.
We'll do one of those ones where you team up and you do the swim.
I would love that. Let's
and I'll
do
do
it.
another part.
Let's do the relay.
I'm not swimming.
100%
I
let's do the
cannot
relay.
swim. That is not a cross training activity. I cannot. I was an ear infection kid, so I just learned. Hey, you know what? If I don't go under the water, I won't get an ear infection.
That's fair.
So guess what? I never really learned to swim in that manner. So I'm like, I can swim. I'm not gonna. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna drown, but I'm not an athletic swimmer at all.
Stop it. Done. We're creating a relay for next year.
I could do that.
Dude,
That would be fun.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm talking about just start off small, get bigger, push yourself, push your limits, but don't, like I said before, don't push yourself that you burn yourself out and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
New Year's resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously have them, but don't be like, okay, I'm going to do all this stuff in January. By February, you're so burnt out. You're like, no. And then it takes you another 11 months to work back up to a New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
I don't really necessarily do New Year's resolutions. I just try to have monthly goals or weekly
that's
goals
good.
or daily goals. That's why I like the 75 hard a lot, because it just already does the daily goals for me. I try to do, 10 to 12, maybe eventually I'll be back at 15 sit-ups, push-ups, a daily goal of stretching for 10, 15 minutes, a daily goal of at least one workout. Throw in some healthy eating in there, but I won't say I'm perfect. Daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals. I'm not going to run 1,500 miles a year. I'm just not. I'm not that runner.
Yeah.
I have to do me, and I know that if I do that, I'm going to wind up injured.
Sure.
And I'm going to wind up burnout. As much as I love running, it doesn't love me in that manner that I can go run 1,500 miles a year.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
So I know you get it. So
you said goals as far as push-ups and sit-ups. Do you have any running goals coming up?
I would like to do another ultra, getting past this injury. This one I did last April. I actually signed up for the 50, but you can drop at any time. And I didn't do the 50. I knew, I didn't train for it. I didn't train right. And it's coming up again in April. So what is this, January?
Is this Phoenix?
Phoenix, yes. Phoenix Trail Fest, the beautiful Lake Lurleen. Never heard of it. It's awesome. Have you been there?
You guys were telling me about it.
Oh, it's awesome. And they have, you can do like one loop is 12K and 12 miles and then so on and so on. So that was another one. I dropped down. I signed up for 50 miles and then I knew realistically that wasn't going to happen. So I dropped down to whatever 3 loops was, 37 and a half. So I guess it was a little more than 12 miles each, maybe 12 and a half miles. And that was another one where I finished and I was like beating myself up. I'm like, I didn't do the 50. I signed up for the 50. My people were like, but it's fine. You can. It's not a DNF. There's no way to DNF at this race. So beat myself up. And next thing I know, they stick a little award in my hand. And it was third place female. And I'm looking around like, surely not. And they're like, yep. Here you go. And some of these could just be like shoe-ins. Like maybe there was only 3 people. I don't know. I never went back and looked. No, I think I did go back and look because I don't want to be like, oh, did I get that? But you know what? It's still a medal. So
that's right. Absolutely.
In my mind, I was still third place. So that was another one was like, okay, that wasn't terrible then. Yeah, I didn't set out for the biggest goal of 50, but I also know I didn't put in the work for it. And I had blistered horribly at that race. And I literally could not put my shoe back on. I didn't know how I was even going to. But there really was no finishing. So I would talk to them and drop down. And so I guess a goal would, if not that one, another ultra this year. It's early in the year.
Yeah.
My leg is feeling better and better each day. So I just have to not amp up my mileage too fast.
Yeah.
That's what he said is going to hurt me. So I guess my goal is to run another ultra this year. Fun fact, I have ran plenty of 50Ks and 50 miles, but I've never ran a marathon.
Okay.
Isn't that odd? I don't really want to. Isn't that odd? That's odd.
No.
It's a different feel.
It's a different,
Trail run, ultra run, it's different. It's different. I've done halves, but I have never ran a marathon. And I don't really want to. I don't want to carry all that stuff. No, I'm just
I'm like, but you've put in 26 miles.
Oh, I absolutely have done way more than 26 miles.
Yeah.
I've almost doubled that.
Wow.
But I've never ran a marathon.
Yeah.
Technically.
Technically.
I've run marathon distance.
Yeah.
but I've never ran a marathon. Never signed up for a marathon.
Wow. Again, you're hardcore. You're
No,
like,
that's not
let's
hardcore.
go into the
That's
woods.
lazy.
No, it's not. I know you mentioned you can do hard things, keep going. But is there a mantra when it does get hard that you tell yourself?
Just mindset's everything.
Mm.
I
Mm-hmm.
grew up and did not realize for 20-something years what a negative Nelly I was.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And again, in the teaching field, that's also not what the kids need. They don't
Mm.
need a negative Nelly.
Mm-hmm.
So once we got into running, I realized it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter your job. It doesn't matter your running, your schoolwork. If you're in school, mindset is everything.
Mm.
If you stop saying can't,
Mm.
then you can.
Mm.
It's immediately I tell the kids, I'm like, well, you can. They're like, no, I can't. I'm like, start small.
Mm-hmm.
But mindset is everything. It really, I have learned that firsthand. So
I'm going to need a pocket version of you, and I'm just going to carry you around everywhere I go. That's amazing. Yeah.
I've learned, I listen to a lot of people who just talk about being mentally strong.
Mm.
I'm not a very strong person. I'm very small framed, and I've never been, I'm not a bodybuilder here. But I think that what sets us apart sometimes is that our mind can be stronger than others who are going to give up. I hate to see people who have tapped out at an ultra race. I'm like, oh, come on, just walk with me.
Yeah.
You don't have to run.
Mhm.
I don't run 50 miles. Like run. You're going to run, walk. But mindset is everything. But go, okay, I have this amount of time to do this. I can do this.
Mm.
It's going to hurt. But mindset is everything.
That's so good. So you've had all these distances. What is your favorite length to run, whether it's a race or training day or anything like that?
I think 5K only because I can see the most growth in that. Like,
Okay.
I guess because I do it more often.
Mm-hmm.
You can see 2022 was my year of PRs. And it was like no injuries that year. So it was just a really good year. New shoe, no injuries. And we found kind of what works. So I think 5K is because I can see the, not feedback, but yeah, feedback faster. And I can see that my training is paying off quicker. Then I don't run an ultra every month, but I might run a 5K every month or every 2 weeks. And I can see my progress on a good year.
Yeah.
Obviously 23 was not a good year. It's okay. I'm still here.
Yeah.
I haven't given up. That's right. Just wasn't.
You're on the podcast.
It wasn't a good running year. Not that it wasn't a good year. It just
Yeah.
wasn't a good running year.
Mm-hmm.
I want to wear a boot again. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially I do walking for a living.
Mm.
But it's
Well, it
fun.
throws everything else off too.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
When you're not running, you're not teaching, what do you like to do, my friend?
I love to travel.
Okay.
Not a racecation. I don't know. We usually throw that in there somewhere. Yeah. I just really like to travel.
Okay.
We have a cruise coming up.
Okay.
But last time we went on the cruise, you can do a 5K on the island for free. So there was that. So we got to stop doing this. But it's fun. They gave me a little Disney medal.
How fun.
So yeah, we have a Disney cruise.
Okay.
Next year we have an Alaskan cruise. That's like bucket list there. So I have a travel bucket list.
Okay.
Like Alaska, that'll be checked off next year. Hawaii, I'm just stalking the cruises. It's not the cruise price, it's the flights. And then Paris. Those are like my travel.
Wow.
And if there's most likely going to be a race turn in there. But I like
why
to
not?
travel.
You're there. You might
but-
as well say you ran there too.
Well, and that's like every summer we've been going to the Gatlinburg Mountains.
Mhm.
And then this year we figured out, because we were there on a Friday night instead of a Saturday night, that the Saturday morning you could run around the Smokies baseball stadium. Actually, you finished on the bases. You ran the bases at your
fun.
And so we didn't really plan on that. And then they gave you tickets to, well, now come to find out, it's the exact same thing the Bay Bears did. They shut down, or they're shutting down.
Yeah.
They sold out. They're building a new stadium. And so the management has switched over. So now we won't ever get that opportunity again because the stadium, I'm sure by now it's shut down. Like they finished the season and it's no longer. So if we hadn't done that last year, and my kids, they like that. Zoe, our youngest, she's a major love-hate with running.
Sure.
She wants to do it. She wants me to sign her up, and it's always a disaster. She is to finish a race. Nobody talk to me. I'm dying. Get me out of here. I want to leave right now.
Yeah.
Person. But she has that memory. I ran with her because we were in a strange city.
Sure.
No, the mountains are not flat. I don't know what in the world I was thinking. So I thought this was a flat race. It was a neighborhood. This had the
Say
biggest,
Gatlinburg, right?
the biggest hills I've ever seen. Like Holla Hill.
Wow.
I actually think it was even just rolling hills. Anyway, so she's doing she doesn't have a good mindset when she runs. And I have tried and tried, but you can't teach your own children sometimes. So I said, you know what? I'm going to run to the bottom of this hill and I'm going to leave you. And she's like, fine. So she's walking downhill. You don't walk downhill.
Yeah.
That's a mantra. Don't walk downhill. You don't walk the downhills. So I left her. I could see her. I'm like not mean mama, but I am when she's running because she complains the whole time. So anyway, so we get back, you run, you're in this neighborhood, you run back, you run through the parking lot and then into the back of the stadium, like where the, I don't know baseball terms, but like the cleaning crews would drive in.
Okay.
Like the big gate in the back. Yeah. You go through that way. She hit the field. Like I had been leaving her the whole time. Like in front of her, like, come on, like a puppy. Come on. It's only a 5K. Like you're okay. She hit that field. I couldn't touch her.
Wow.
She was so far ahead of me because she hit the field and hit the bases and she took off like a rocket.
Wow.
Like literally finished so far ahead of me. I was like, well, I promise I was ahead of her. But she has that memory of hitting that grass and just taking off and running the bases. And now we won't have another opportunity to do that. So I'm glad that we did.
Yeah.
That was a last minute decision. So I don't want all of our travel to be racecations. But stuff like that, like, that's cool. Like when we got on the Disney one years ago, they were like, did we do a 5K on this day on the island? Here's your start point, and at the end you'll get a medal. Post-COVID, I don't think they do it anymore. But I still have that medal. That's a cool memory.
Yeah.
Like even though we added that into our vacation. I also like to just eat and relax on vacation.
There we go. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I like to travel.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, any final words of wisdom?
Just mindset, start small, stop beating yourself up. So you'll have good days, you'll have bad days. That's not to say that's life, but that's life.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
That's day-to-day life. That's working out, running life. You're going to have good runs. You're going to have bad runs. Just don't give up.
Yeah. Gina, my friend, thank you so much. One, thank you for your friendship. You are just, I just love our random texts that we send each other. And just, again, the great accountability partner that you are and what you're doing with your students and your kids and what you do for the running community, because you are just such a cheerleader for others. Like I tell you, Lance, you're just a hoot. And I love and adore y'all. Yeah. So
if you hear me cheering for you, it takes every ounce of breath because I'm not a good breather. But I enjoy if somebody's obviously faster than me and they're going to pass me in the other direction. I love to cheer.
Yeah.
I learned that. I know what it does for me. And I know I have friends that'll obviously be done before I am. Or maybe they're only doing the fun run that day and they'll stand at the end or they're cheering their kids on, whatever. And when I hear those voices, then I can take off. I can do the Zoe and take off around the bases because I know they're cheering me on. But maybe because I didn't do sports growing up, but I never had that feeling.
Yeah.
So I know what it does for me and I want to give that to other people. But compliment a stranger. Be like, man, I love your shoes. I love your running belt. Where did you get that? Because I know that has worked for me. So I make it my goal to do that for someone else. Either cheer on a stranger, cheer on somebody. They're passing you. That's amazing. Yeah. You're amazing. You're passing. I'm not comparing. But some of us go back and forth or joke with each other. Be like, hey, I had a good day. I passed you. But just it's being someone's cheerleader, whether you know them personally or not, whether you see them once a month at a race. Yeah. That means something to somebody. Yeah. And I want to be that for others because I know people have done that for me. Because I, as a kid, believe it or not, was so shy and negative because the world was against me. I didn't even look people in the eye. Public speaking, I could have shaken so hard, I could have fallen over. It was awful. I didn't look people in the eye. I was so shy. I didn't talk to people. So I guess I don't know, not that people didn't compliment me, but probably, I don't know. Yeah. I don't remember anybody complimenting me. I was the big hair, big glasses kid, got made fun of a lot. So I didn't really have that. I didn't really have that cheerleader on the sideline, and I didn't do any sports. So I really just didn't have that feeling. So as an adult, I guess it maybe even means more to me. So I want to be that for somebody else.
Well, you do it so well. I appreciate you. You're such a great friend. I just absolutely adore you, and Lance too. But
He's there.
he's there.
He wasn't invited. That's right. This is my shadow. No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
It's hard to live in a shadow sometimes.
You're not living in a shadow today.
Well, and years ago when I first started running, like, okay, so it's Ginna, but it's obviously spelled with 2 N's, which confuses people, and we all are in the Facebook era. So I was given the nickname by accident as Lance's wife because no one either knew how to, I guess they didn't want to offend me by saying my name wrong, or they just couldn't remember. So, for the longest time, we had hashtag Lance's wife. So, of course, I live in his shadows. But so then I had good friends on my cheering squad that made it hashtag Ginna's husband.
There we go. Yes, yes.
Oh, we even had packages come in the mail as hashtag Ginna's husband.
That's hilarious. And that's amazing.
Yeah. I'm going to go back and see if those posts are still there. But
thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yes.
And thank you so much for, again, your friendship and what you do for this running community.
And thank you for not just picking the cream of the crop. I love those people. I'm married to those people. But I always feel like just a basic person. I'm just out there.
Mm-hmm.
What a weekend warrior. I don't just feel like I just blow it out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
I do that 1% better is what I try to stick to. So thank you I just feel like an average Joe. And I feel very honored that you pick an average Joe.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not an average Joe.
Well, I feel like I am.
You are anything above average, Ginna.
Doubtful.
Oh, my friend, so good. How much fun is Ginna Johnson? You love her. You want her to be your best friend. And she is that. She is such a great friend to our running community and just absolutely love her. And what a great cheerleader. And can we just talk about how she is so funny about how she views herself as an average Joe, and she is not that. She is so much more than that. And I think that's something that I just love about her. She's so funny and just so gracious, and she's just amazing. Just absolutely love her. So thank you, Ginna, so much. Thank you for what you bring to our running community. You are absolutely a rock star and hardcore. I mean, you started off in obstacle course races and then got into running. Like, who does that? Johnson does that too. Guys, I seriously, when you go to a local race, reach out, find Ginna, and introduce yourself if you don't know her, because she's absolutely incredible and she will cheer you on. I love her so much for that. And just what she brings to my life and what she brings to our running community, and just how grateful I am that we have somebody like Ginna who cheers everyone on and is just so humble in her own running story. And so I just so excited for you, so excited for your future, because you're still running, my friend. You've still got so much more left, and I'm so excited to see what you can do. And if you do go back for that 50 miler, I'll be there to cheer you on, my friend. So excited for you. And again, thank you so much to Port City Pacers for powering up this podcast. We're so grateful for you and what you do for our community. You make running better for all of us, and just absolutely love you guys and appreciate the board and all the Port City Pacer members. You guys are just incredible. And for all the race directors that are associated with Port City Pacers, thank you. Thank you for putting on such amazing races for us, and just really appreciate that. As always, huge shout out to Mars Hill Church for providing such a safe place for us. We are truly grateful that we have such an amazing space to be able to sit and share our stories and be vulnerable with one another and with our running community. I just really appreciate that. They appreciate Runner Stories, so I just thank you for having such welcome arms for us. So thank you to Mars Hill Church. And we know this podcast would not be possible without the man himself, Greg Gaillard from Gaillard Tech Services. From editing to our website, he is all the things. And so just so grateful for his talents and his time. And guys, if you need a website updated or you want to create a new one, He has got you. He is the man with a plan. And so definitely follow him on social media. He also has a website at Gaillard Tech Services. You'll definitely want to check him out. And also, when you go to check out the website, you can also check out on our website at runyourstory.com. There is a list of races, and on there are links to the Port City Pacers as well. And so thank you, Greg Gaillard, for getting that together. And he tries so hard to stay up to date with all of the local races and races out of state. He loves to run a community, and he loves being able to share that information. And so we are incredibly thankful for that. And this podcast is made possible by our Patreon supporters. They are absolutely phenomenal, and we love them, and they make sure that we keep going because they've taken the financial burden off of us and they keep it going. So it does cost to host a podcast, and so they take such good care of us, and we are forever grateful for them. They keep us going so we can keep sharing your stories. And so thank you to our Patreon supporters. You are amazing. They always like it when I say go like, share, and comment on our social media page when we share your stories. The more that you do that, the more the stories get out there and Run Your Story gets highlighted. And so we are truly grateful to be able to share your stories and all the stories to come. We are so excited for this opportunity, and we do not take it lightly that we get to share your stories because they make us better. They make me better, and I'm truly grateful for that. And guys, it's just such an honor to be able to share one another, because it's one thing that we run together on the pavement, whether you're in Mobile or in another state or another part of the world. Your stories matter, and we cannot wait to share them, and we can't wait for you to hear them. I mean, I absolutely am inspired by Ginna and her story and the things that she does for our community, and I'm better because I know her and because I call her my friend. So thank you again, Ginna, for sharing your story, and I will take it with me now where I go when I hit the pavement, and your story has become a part of my story. It's become a part of our community story, and so together we run our stories because every story needs to be heard.